Neil here from Functional Senior Fitness, welcoming you to the final installment of my three-part series on how to get down and up from the floor both safely and securely. As you've probably already guessed, in step 3 you're going to go all the way down to the floor, but there's no need for that to cause you any anxiety. As long as you're able to do the tandem hip hinge with the reach back easily and on balance, then the hard part's already over, and you're just 2 simple moves away from achieving your goal. But before we get into those 2 simple moves, a quick refresher about the pelvic tilt. Now remember, our pelvis has 2 basic positions in the pelvic tilt. The first one is the pelvis tilting forward. Remember the visualization of the box of water spilling forward. And the second is the pelvis in its upright position. Go back to your solid piece of furniture when first practicing going all the way down to the floor. Once you feel comfortable with that, you can start working in the lower positions. You're going to start standing tall, feet about shoulder width apart. Take a step back, maintaining that shoulder width position. Do the tandem hip hinge, one hand on the knee, other hand on that piece of furniture. You're going to shift your weight a little forward so this back foot is free. Reach back as far as you can. Okay, that's everything you know and have been practicing. Now to get yourself down, you need to put a little weight on this back foot. Not a lot, just a little bit so we can help you out. And then you're going to simultaneously lower the hips and tilt that pelvis upright. And just like that, you're down on the floor safely and securely. No strength or balance issues whatsoever. Now to get up from the floor, I'm going to do the reverse simultaneously. I'm going to tilt the pelvis forward. I'm going to shift my weight forward, and I'm going to straighten that back leg. And it'll look like this. Once I'm in this position, I make sure that this is free. Step forward and use my hip hinge to get up. So altogether, it looks like this. Step back, tandem hip hinge, reach back, tilt the pelvis upright while you lower the hips. And then you shift the weight forward, tilt the pelvis forward, straighten the back leg, step forward, and come up using the hip hinge. If lowering yourself all the way down and up from the floor still gives you a little anxiety, try this alternate starting position for a little while to help build up your confidence. You're going to start by facing your piece of furniture rather than standing beside it. That way, you can use 2 arms to help steady yourself on the way down and on the way up. This should give you the confidence that you need to get the job done. Now, if you can't step all the way forward on the up part of this movement, that's not a problem at all. Just step as far forward as you can. Make sure your weight's on both feet and use the tandem hip hinge to stand up. Use the same progressions that you did in the tandem hip hinge to practice in the lower positions. Once you can lower yourself all the way down to the floor and bring yourself up at least 2 times on both sides and do it fairly easily, it's time to add one more move to it, the go-to position. A go-to position is a familiar position that you know you can stand up from. In this case, it's going to be hands and knees. This is important to establish so that no matter what position you are on the ground, you know that if you can get to your hands and knees, you'll be able to stand up. So adding the go-to position to your practice is going to look like this. You're going to start standing tall, feet shoulder width apart. Take your step back, hinge in the hip, one hand on the knee, other hand reaches for the ground. Step back, lower the hips till the knee touches. Take that front leg, put it behind you, hands and knees. Bring that leg forward, shift forward, lift the hips, straighten the leg, bring that leg forward, use your hip hinge to stand up. If you're having trouble bringing the front leg behind you and then forward again to get in and out of the go-to position, or if you'd like a safe, simple way to sit all the way down to the ground from the go-to position, then I encourage you to click on the troubleshooting link at the end of this video. There I'll give you some easy, simple solutions to both. In order to maintain this movement skill, make it a habit of going all the way down on the floor and back up at least twice a day, because movement skills are perishable, and what you don't use, you most certainly will lose. Your journey towards physical freedom doesn't have to stop here. There are many other videos on this channel that will show you how to regain, maintain, and strengthen the vital movement skills you need to remain physically independent and active. So I invite you to check them out and continue training for what really matters.